Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
Honey, we need to talk about the invitations. Now, do you want to be William the Bloody or just Spike? Because either way, it's going to look majorly weird.
Whereas the name Buffy gives it that touch of classic elegance.
What's wrong with Buffy?
Such a good question.
Well, it's a terrible name.
My mother gave me that name.
Your mother, yeah, she's a genius.
Don't you start in on my mother.
Hold up the windows, barricade the doors.
What's going on?
Stevens, they keep coming and coming.
I think we lost him, but I couldn't see. Spike! He's all untied. Which you probably noticed.
Xander, calm down, okay? If you lost, then that'll give us some time to figure this out. Maybe the demons have something to do with Giles being blind.
Giles is blind.
Stop whatever you're doing. You smell like fruit roll-ups.
This is the crack team that foils my every plan. I am deeply shamed.
Everybody, and welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 9, Something Blue, directed by Nick Mark, written by Tracy Forbes, original air date November 30th, 1999, to an audience of 5.42 million people. And this is an interesting one. It could be the start of something that we've been curious about.
It is, and I don't know. Maybe this is all it is. You know,
maybe
I don't know. Not. Maybe this is the pinnacle of what we've heard about.
It might be, but I don't think so.
I don't think
so.
There's
got to be more.
It's got to be more, but also how?
Yeah. Also, Willow is incredibly unlikable in this episode, in my opinion.
Yes, they made her do stuff so that stuff would happen.
Yeah. Well, we don't have any shout outs. I don't have any plugs.
Let's just
join the Discord, join the Patreon, all that jazz.
Yeah, we got Scrooged on a Patreon. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Let's just fucking do it. So we get a recap of, Spike's back in town. We get also a recap of Oz leaving town, which I was like, oh, does Oz come back in this?
Yeah.
Nope. But Willow is in Oz's room, his old apartment, and she's there. There's a bunch of pictures of Willow and Oz together, and she's just like sitting in his bed and like taking in the Ozness of the apartment. And
smelling the shirt. The classic smelling of the shirt.
Yeah. And she's in her sads. So Buffy is at school and she's in like some kind of hallway walking around, and Riley is putting up a lesbian alliance meeting sign or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy makes her crack joke. He comes down off of the ladder and she's like, oh, you got something to tell me? And Riley's like, oh, yeah, I'm a total lesbian.
It's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
That line delivery just did not hit.
Yeah. And then Riley's yammering about some kind of picnic. They're going to have a picnic at Ruggs Field, and he's inviting Buffy. And Buffy's like, yeah, sure, picnic sounds nice. That'd be great. And then it's like Riley doesn't know how to talk to Buffy, and he mentions says, like, you're so weird and interesting and hard to talk to.
Well, he says, oh, yeah, like the picnic we were talking about. And she's like, what do you know? He's like, oh, was I just practicing that in my head?
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like, what? He's like, when I talk to you, I practice because, sometimes you're like an oral exam. And I'm like, she is.
Yeah, dude.
And they're doing this on purpose. They're making him the plain Jane nice guy, milk
Poindexter.
toast. Yes, on purpose because of the next scene when Buffy talks about stuff. But yeah.
I need to ask you, does it seems like in this scene, like it seems like they've already been dating, and like I felt like because
she says, "Oh, let's talk about the picnic."
Yeah,
like, the picnic that we were planning on going on, and then she's like, "We never talked about it."
I looked at the episode just to make sure that I didn't like skip ahead an episode. I was like, did I miss something? Because it seemed like they were. I don't know.
No, it was just that line, and then because it's confusing, and then she clears it up.
Yeah. So then it's Buffy and Willow walking around the graveyards at night, and Buffy's basically echoing everything that we've been saying about Riley, where he's just like, yeah, he's a nice guy. He's just, he's secure. He's dependable, but my God, is he boring?
No
like, yes.
sparks.
Yeah, she's like, I mean, it's tough, but like, I don't have like the passion. I don't have that rush of feeling that's happening. It's just like, he's just a nice guy and I like him, but like something's missing. And then she was like, and then when I went back to LA to see Angel, all those feelings and that passion like came rushing back. And like, I understood like what it felt like to be like, that was what I was in love with. And Willow's like, or Buffy's just like, I like the danger. I like all of this stuff. And Willow was like, yeah, well, Riley isn't going to treat you horribly. And Buffy's like, yeah, but I just miss the danger of everything. I wonder where I get that from. And then a vampire jumps out and she stakes it, stabs it right in the heart, turns to dust.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I don't get it.
It's just this is like pointless vampire killing. It's like a walk and stab.
Yeah.
And she's like, real love through pain and
fighting.
Fighting.
Passion.
Pain and fighting. I don't know why I feel this way. And then just stab. And I'm like, why is Willow just, I guess Willow's like, I'll go for a walk with you while you kill people. Sometimes like, Willow, stay back. I can't fight and do this with normals around me. And then other times it's like, hey, let's study in the graveyard while I kill people.
Yeah. It is wild the times that Buffy's telling Willow to stay back. Like, no, I can't risk your life. I can't have you there. Like, I can't have you walking around with me. And then like just a normal graveyard patrol, Willow's like, all right, I'm coming. So yeah, then Spike is chained up in Giles's bathtub. He's in Giles's tub and he's given Buffy some info about the commandos, but he's being really vague about it. She's like, well, what do they look like? What do you have any facial features? He's like, I don't know. I'm a little bit thirsty. Maybe a little bit of blood could jog my memory. And then, then they give him blood in a mug that says, kiss the librarian with a straw.
Yeah.
And he's drinking it and he's worried because he's like, they're like, well, you got to give us more information. And he's like, how much more information can I tell you? Because once I give you all the information I have, you probably are going to kill me. Mm-hmm. And then Buffy starts like taunting him. She like gets real close to his face and she's like, here's my totally exposed neck. Oh, gosh. It's ripe for the biting. And Spike is sitting there like, you fucking ass, I fucking hate you, you bitch.
And in this scene, Giles actually uses the term impotent to describe Spike. As if they haven't already like done it all. They were like, this might be too subtle.
Yeah.
Let's go with the full impotent term. And she calls him flaccid.
Yeah. And he's like, hey. And then Willow shows up. And she's like, hey, Giles, I've got an idea. And Giles is like, what's your idea? And she's like, why don't we just do a truth spell on him? And Giles is like, fuck, why didn't I think of that? He's like, yeah, why wouldn't you think of that always? Yeah. Like, if that's just always in your back pocket.
I guess he doesn't go straight to witchcraft.
Yeah.
I thought he would be against a truth spell, honestly.
Like, but Willow is very much like, yeah, I mean, this is totally something we can do. And she's also a little bit like, I don't know if it'll work on vampires, though. And Giles is like, well, might as well try. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And then she's like, all right, well, I'm going to go to the magic store and I'm going to get the supplies then. So she leaves. Giles goes back up with Buffy and Spike, and Giles is like, Willow is starting to turn a corner on this whole like being sad about Oz stuff. And Spike is like, are you fucking kidding me? She is sad as fuck, dude. Can't you tell? Any ninny could see that.
Yeah. He's the voice of reason, it seems like, in this show. Like the matter of fact. He's like what you think Giles would be, or what Giles was in a lot of scenes. I do love him calling people ninnies too.
Yeah. Well, it's also funny because he's like the most logical and perceptive person. Like,
yes.
He wasn't even in that scene with Willow. And he's like, dude, are you kidding me? I could just hear how sad she was.
I was just thinking about that when I was like, because I had marked that in my note that he said that. And I was like, was he out of the bathtub? He's still in the tub.
I heard from downstairs how sad she was still. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But yeah, then Willow goes back to Oz's apartment, and Oz's apartment is empty. All of his stuff is gone, and she starts crying. And she's like, wait, what?
I was happy to see all of his stuff gone just because I was like, how is this apartment still functioning? Like, where's he living? Where's all the stuff? So, yeah.
But yeah, this is like the first moment for Willow that, Oz is gone and he's not coming back for a while. And she goes back to her dorm and she's crying to Buffy about it. And she's like, he's fucking gone, dude. He's gone. You don't know where he's going to be and where he's at.
Buffy, you've never been through anything like this before.
Yeah. Buffy's like, I know how it feels. And she's like, but you don't. It's like I just had a whole fucking season about it, but
right. I ran away and went to hell, but sure.
I went back to LA, and I don't remember it happening, but I had a great day with this guy, and then it got taken away from me.
It's just like, if you're a woman and you're in love with somebody that tries to kill you on multiple occasions, it's hard to get over that.
Yeah,
it's just hard.
So.
It's just hard.
All of these women have such crazy traumatic experiences. They will never know normal love. Like they'll never know it.
I mean, Buffy's got normal Riley just sitting there for like just a little rebound, like have a little normality. Somewhat normal.
Well, Buffy went from like a dude that's trying to kill her and all of her friends and family to Parker, who just used her for sex.
Yeah. That's kind of
normal. And she was like
normal.
obsessed with that guy though. And now she's got Riley, who's just like, I'm the nicest man alive. I respect everyone. I wouldn't hurt a fly. And she's like, you're lame. Rightfully so. Because he is lame.
He is lame. But Buffy needs a little safe rebound.
Yeah. But yeah, Willow's crying to Buffy about, Oz is actually gone. And Buffy's like, yeah, that, shit happens, dude. So we go back to Spike in the tub, and he wants to watch TV, screaming at Giles, and he wants to watch Passions.
Yes. Have we talked about Passions on this show?
I don't think so. Did you ever watch Passions?
I did watch Passions. We fell into it. We were on a spring break, me and a bunch of dudes, and we saw, they used to have ads for it on TV. Like the commercials for Passions were insane. Insane.
If you guys don't remember or you never heard of Passions, it was a soap opera where like all this crazy. I don't think so.
Last forever.
They do like General Hospital's still on. I know that, but Passions was like a supernatural soap opera where there was like, wasn't there like an alive dummy and stuff like that?
Yes, there was like a little person who would turn into like a dummy from this witch, and there were like hell stuff. It was insane. And we saw like a trailer of that, like a commercial for that, and we were like, all right, we're watching. It was the only thing that got us out of bed the next day. And we would all just gather and watch it for an hour. And we started watching it a little bit more when we were back in college, but like we didn't keep up with it. But it was so crazy, and nothing happens in soap operas. We were like, is this person going to leave the hospital? Same scene. 5 days. It comes on like every day too.
Yeah. I remember, so I didn't watch Passions, but General Hospital had a spin-off called Port Charles where they had supernatural stuff going, and they had like vampires and angels and stuff fighting each other. It was around the same time period, probably. But I remember seeing commercials for Passions and being like, Jesus Christ. But Spike is a big fan of this show, Passions.
I know. Which I heard that and it just triggered a
I completely forgot
like,
about that show until he said that. And I was like, oh my God.
And if you were addicted to soap operas, you would be like he is. Because in his first scene, he loves TV. The first time he came to Sunnydale. So
yeah. And he's like screaming to Giles. He's like, put the TV on!
Put the
Passions is on!
Passions is on! And there's no DVR then. It's no getting it back.
Yeah, exactly.
But also nothing's going to happen in that episode. So
you can watch the next episode and figure out the gist. You know?
Yeah. That's what we should do with these Buffies. We can just start skipping episodes.
We could skip one? Oh my God.
People would lose their mind.
Yeah, I would lose. We probably would. It'd be like the most pivotal episode ever. And the next episode, we were like, wait, what? But yeah, so Giles is getting a little concerned. He's like, calls Buffy and Willow's dorm. He calls Willow. He's like, hey, you never gave me that fucking truth spell stuff that I need for Spike. And I'd really like to do that. So where the hell are you? I'd like to take a shower alone eventually.
Yeah. Which is funny to think that he's showering in front of Spike.
That'd be hilarious. Just like doing a sink shower.
Yeah.
Just with a rag. So gross. So then we cut to Riley and Buffy on their picnic, and my God. Riley's got a Tupperware thing of apples, and he's talking to Buffy about his interests. And what is Riley into? Riley likes driving. This guy sucks, dude.
It's like, I don't know why they decided that this would be the conversation for them to have, because they could talk about anything. You could have a really interesting scene with double entendre of him being like a gun guy and her being a slayer. Yes. And like them dancing around the like, oh, I kind of, I've done some crazy things, but he doesn't want to go into it. And she talks about crazy stuff and they start There's so many things you can have. It's a scene, whatever.
Yeah.
And they decide that he says, oh, driving's great. She's like, oh, driving. Oh, I don't really drive that much. Buffy and cars. And my thought was, Buffy, you really need to learn how to drive if you're
right,
going to be a slayer.
Dude?
I'm sorry.
She's walking all around. How did she get to LA to see Angel?
She's taking buses and stuff. Like, you're not with the Watchers anymore, who still have not shown up.
Yep. No consequences whatsoever. Consequences.
They're just like, oh, there's a slayer out there. We're just reading books now.
Yep.
Like, what is happening?
These consequences have got to happen. Like, remember last season there was an episode called Consequences? There's got to be an episode this season called Consequences 2.
I wanted to be like, oh, wait, we forgot about this. Like, Giles is not a Watcher after all this time. And it's like, whatever.
Well, it's like, who do the Watchers... Like, what are they doing? Like, they don't have a Slayer. They're worthless.
Even when they had a Slayer, they didn't seem to care that much. Like, they send one person once to, like, try to kill her.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't even know about the initiative, it seems.
Yeah.
And unless the initiative is Watcher funded.
That'd be cool. A cool tie-in.
Be something.
It'd be something for the Watchers to do aside from just rely on one teenage girl. You know what I mean?
In one part of the world when vampires are omnipresent.
All over. Yeah.
And demons in general. Not even just vampires. But yeah, like, I think Buffy needs to learn how to drive. I'm sorry.
She still hasn't gotten her license. And then Riley's like, well, I'll have to take you on a drive one of these times. It just clears my head. It's very meditative.
And she's like, are we talking about driving? And he's like, I thought we were. And I'm like, the conversation didn't shift sexual enough for it to be like that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's not like he was like, you grab the stick, you're pulsating, you feel the rumble on beneath your legs, and like, but it was just like, you drive, and you got the air in your hair, and
He's like, once I take you past the vineyard, you'll see driving in a whole new light. She's like, I've been in a car before, you idiot.
But yeah, then Willow sees them from a distance, and Willow's like, oh, it's Buffy and Riley. It looks like they're on a very private picnic. Let me go over and walk up to them and be sad as fuck.
I haven't been helping set this up for days now. Okay.
So she walks up and she's like, oh, hey, Buffy, Riley. And they're like, oh, hey, what's up, Willow? And Willow's like, you got a nice little picnic you got going there. It seems really nice and lovely. And Riley and Buffy are like, yeah. And Willow's like, oh, am I interrupting your picnic? And then Riley's like, no, have a seat. And Willow sits down and she's sad. And Buffy's like, you still sad, Willow? And Willow's like, no. And then Willow gets up and she leaves. She's like, your apples are turning brown. Goodbye.
Yeah. It looks like before Riley invites her to sit down, Buffy's just like, all right, keep moving.
Yeah.
Riley does a nice thing like, this girl needs help. I saw her walk into a street once. Yeah. I thought she was going to do self-harm. And then Buffy's just like, Willow, don't you have a test to be studying for?
Also, Buffy's doing something different with her hair. It's like wavy or curly or something.
Oh, yeah. She's got, I don't know what, it's got a, I don't even know how to describe it, but
Crimp?
It's not straight. It's not straight.
Yeah. But yeah, so then Willow leaves and Buffy and Riley are like, damn, that was a bummer. So then they go to the Bronze, and the Bronze is, they got that budget, baby.
Yeah.
Because the Bronze is playing Blink-182, All the Small Things. And I was like, whoa, usually they have a bunch of unknown indie bands playing.
Yeah.
This is like one of the biggest songs in the world probably at this time.
Yeah, true.
So they're there. Xander and Anya are talking to Buffy about Willow, and they're like, yeah, Willow's still sad, huh, isn't she? And Buffy's like, my God, you have no fucking idea. I live with that girl. She's so sad. She interrupted my date with Riley. She's so fucking sad, dude. And then they're like, oh, man, that's tough. Well, look over there. It doesn't seem like she's that sad. And then we get a cut to Willow, who's on the dance floor just dancing and flailing her arms wildly to Blink-182.
It is Willow's sexy dance, or like when, what was it, Bad Girls, or whenever Buffy came back and she just hit the dance floor and went crazy.
Yeah.
This is Willow's version of that.
And she sees Buffy, Anya, and Xander, and she's like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? She walks over to the table, and they're like, Willow, you looking like you're feeling a lot better, huh? And Willow's like, yeah, I feel great. You know, maybe all I needed to do was come and dance away all my troubles. I just really love dancing. And then a beer bottle falls out of her coat pocket.
I had no idea where this beer bottle fell from. It was the weirdest. I thought it was like on the floor and it fell over.
Yeah. It was like, I think it was
like an after school special when that happened. It was like, beer.
Yeah. So it falls on the ground and it spills everywhere. Bottle breaks, and they're like, oh boy, you're drunk. She's like, all right, I mean, I'm not drunk, but I've been drinking, and who cares? It's just beer, you know, it's fine. I just wanted to drink a little bit, you know, loosen me up. And Buffy's like, I don't like this, Willow. I don't like this. Remember when I drank beer and I turned into a freaking cave woman? That's not good. It's like, that doesn't happen to fucking everybody, dude.
From just beer. Do you not? Did Xander not tell you?
They're still trying to get that money from the anti-drug associations or whatever.
Drinking turns you into a cave people. Like, what?
And Willow's like, no, I mean, it's fine. Shut up. Just because that happened to you doesn't mean it's going to happen to me. I'm having a good time. I'm drunk. So what? And Xander's like, all right, Missy, I'm cutting you off. You're going home. And she's like, but I don't want to go home. And Buffy's like, Willow, you're going home. And Willow's like, look, dude, I just wanted to drink because I wanted to forget how bad I feel. And I was like, oof.
Yeah. Well, She rips Xander about like, oh, what, your problems? Oh, I live with my mom and blah, blah, blah. And he gets pissed off and leaves. And then Buffy says, well, I'm going to get you out of here so that you have some friends left. You'll thank me in the morning when you have friends left that want to talk to you.
Yeah. But dude, so in college, so I've never drank before. In college, I had a friend that had never drank before. Whoa.
I'm the I'm the pro beer council.
Discord, stick up for me here. I am not a loser.
No, you do not have to drink to be cool.
But I had a friend in college who also never drank before. And then he had like this crazy huge crush on a girl, and she did not have a crush on him. And he like asked her out and she turned him down. Mm-hmm. And then he started drinking. And I was like, oh man, like what? Why did you start drinking? And his excuse was literally basically what Willow said. He was like, it just helps me forget. And I was like, that's not good. Dude.
No, not at all. You shouldn't start drinking to make problems go away.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to. Yeah. It's just going to make you drunk.
So when Willow said that, I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, that seems like people turn. Like, you should turn to the bottle during happier times, Celebrations, champagne toast, Think of it that way, not.
Wasn't it a thing like if you have like a baby that they get you cigars or something? Mm-hmm. That's like a traditional thing. Yeah. Champagne toasts at midnight for New Year's and all that stuff. Yeah. Not like I just got dumped.
But it's like alcohol has marketed itself as like celebration drinks and sadness drinks. So basically it's covered for anything. And then sporting events. So you should be drinking all day, all the time.
At all times. So Buffy takes Willow home and they're in bed. And we get an initial close-up of, I'm so glad that they keep teasing this. Mm-hmm. Amy the rat is still a rat, and she's in the door with Buffy.
I have had in all caps, Amy is still a rat. She made it to college, though.
She did.
What does her dad think she is?
I don't. Where does her dad think the mom is? The mom's a trophy still.
Well, the mom is not a trophy anymore. That school blew up.
Oh, that's right. The mom's dead.
Or is she's out melted. Of the trophy? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Oh,
I didn't even think about that.
Amy's mom.
Oh shit.
R.I.P. the goat.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize that. Oh man.
Oh my God, but.
She's got to come back. The mom's got to come back when the rat comes back.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
But Amy the rat, still present. And Buffy, I thought that Buffy was awake, but apparently she's asleep. Willow wakes up.
She's a deep sleeper for some reason.
Yeah. Willow wakes up in the middle of the night and she's like, you know what? I feel so heartbroken. What do I do in times of heartbreak and when I'm not feeling emotionally stable? I turn to the dark arts.
Yeah, I was like, maybe it was a little better when she was drunk. Like let her dance and drink and pass out. Yeah. This is a bad thing.
So she goes to the bathroom and she's doing a spell to cure her heartbreak. And all this stuff and the flames from the candles that she has surrounded herself, they start going. She's doing this crazy spell where it's like whatever her will is shall be done or something like that. And then it's the next day. And she thinks like, maybe this spell didn't really work because she tries to do something and it doesn't work, right?
She tries to...
Doesn't she try to like light something on fire or something like that and it doesn't work?
Oh, she's trying to like bend a Q-tip. She's trying to do a couple things.
Yeah. And it's not happening. So she's like, well, that was a waste. That spell didn't work. Yeah. Wasted my good candles on that one.
Yeah. It's really good effects on that spell. Like, they had all the candles blow up and like definitely set up. It's crazy she does it in the bathroom.
Right? That's what I was like.
And it's in the same spot that she did the Anya spell thing, it seems like. I feel like her and Anya did that spell that brought back Vamp Willow.
I mean, I'm assuming that that's like kind of a public-y restroom.
Yeah.
You know? And even if it's 4 a.m, there's still people in a dorm room.
There's shit
in
happening.
A dorm? Yeah. Like, I wake up every once in a while at 4 a.m. to just get up and pee. Like, even if it's not like party shit going on, like someone might just get up to pee. Good Lord.
Yeah, people come stumbling back from the bars, stumbling out of people's rooms. I don't know.
Stumbling back from
stoners.
A night of passionate love making.
Yes, that's the only thing that happens in college is passionate love making.
So she's like, this didn't work. My will is not being done. But Giles shows up to the dorm the next day. And he's like, hey, Willow. And she's like, hey, what's up, Giles? And he's like, hey, I'm starting to get concerned about you. And she's like, no, I wasn't even that drunk. And Giles was like, what? And Will's like, oh, don't even, nothing.
He's like, I didn't talk to Buffy, you know? Buffy, I don't have other friends, but I don't only talk to Buffy.
So he's like, it's nothing to do with like you drinking beer. Like, do whatever. Fucking get wasted. You know, I'm the Ripper. I had a party life.
Yeah.
What I'm more concerned about is you didn't keep your promise to me. You said
I don't care about you. I care about you're affecting me.
Yeah, exactly. But basically, he's like, you said that you were going to give me the truth spell stuff, and you never did. You never came back. So it's been a couple of days now. So what the fuck, dude? And Willow's like, no, I didn't forget. I went to the store, but they were out of something, so I had to wait till the next day to get it. And then I eventually got it, but then I just forgot to give it to you. And Giles was like, okay, dude. I'm sorry that you're like going through some shit, but you have more important responsibilities going on. And, you know, I'm sorry that you're sad, but you still have to like, you can't shirk your duties. And she's like, I didn't shirk anything. And he's like, look, dude, I get it. You're sad. And she's like, you don't get it. You don't get the pain that I'm going through. It's like, oh yeah. Remember when Buffy's boyfriend murdered my girlfriend and propped her body up in my bed in my house? The house that I still live in, the bed that I presumably still sleep in?
Yeah.
You're right. I don't get it. I don't get the pain. And
like, I understand wanting Willow to feel this emotionally, but they make it so that she's like flipping about everybody else's stuff. I don't know.
Well, then she like confesses to Giles, like, yeah, I'm sorry. I just, also last night I tried to do a spell where it's like, whatever I say, my will be done. And it just didn't work at all. And Giles is like, you're doing spells while you're doing this, while you're feeling this way. It's like, you shouldn't be doing spells right now. Like, you should just be chilling, getting over Oz. And then she's like, you don't get it. You'll never understand my pain. You won't see my pain or something. She says something about you won't see.
He says, I see how you feel. And she's like, you don't see anything.
Yeah.
And then like her eyes do a weird thing.
Yeah, there's lightning bolts in her eyes.
Yeah.
There's lightning bolts in Giles's eyes.
Just a little sound effect.
And then Giles is like, huh? Well, I've got to go. I suddenly feel strange, and I'm going to go.
I'm surprised this spell is working sporadically and intermittently, and not just instantaneously.
Yeah,
like, you should have just gone blind right there.
Right?
Like, why is it saying like, "Oh, we're gonna fade him out. We're gonna fade out his vision."
I guess the longer that she has the power of the spell going, maybe something like that.
It's crazy that you can make a spell that gives you this power.
Right? This is like the all-powerful, world-breaking spell.
Yeah, this is like the villain in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
You just like say something and you had to do it.
Yeah,
like,
Purple Man.
That's the most powerful, dangerous thing ever.
And Willow has that power now.
Yeah. And all it took was, just just whatever you can buy at the local store.
Yeah, and a couple of rhyming things.
Yeah. Witchcraft doesn't seem that hard.
No, it's not. In this universe?
Watch the witches
not.
blast back on us. On this
Yeah,
one.
right. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to cast a spell. Cast a spell that we get a bajillion Patreon subscribers. Help the boys out. But yeah, so then Giles like is having a hard time walking. He runs into some guy. He's like, sorry, I just am having a hard time seeing or something.
That guy mean mugs Giles.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, is he going to take a swing?
So then Giles goes back home, and I think, is this Giles talking to Spike about the truth spell that's happening?
He's talking to him about the truth spell, and then he's doing something else. Because
Giles is trying to perform the truth spell on Spike.
And he is. I thought he didn't have enough stuff. Oh, he got because Willow got the stuff, but she didn't bring the. Yeah.
So he's trying to do the truth spell on Spike, and he's like, hey, dude, this is not a good idea. You know, like, you're not going to like this. This is not good. And then Giles is like, well, Willow was trying to do it. He's like, Willow was trying to do this, and she's emotionally unstable as fuck right now. He's like, I don't like any part of this. Me and spells, we do not mix. Yeah. This is not happening. This is not good. And he's like, they're too unpredictable. And Giles is like, don't worry about it. I'm blind, basically, but I can figure this out.
Reading this while you're blind? Yeah. He's like struggling to get through it. Yeah.
But somehow, like, Giles knocks over the key to Spike's handcuffs, and they're like, them now. Yeah, they're right by Spike's feet.
They fall out of wherever that beer fell out of at the Bronx.
There's a portal to wherever it needs to open.
Yeah.
So Giles like runs into some stuff. He can't see anything. He's like, all right, I'll be right back. I gotta go get some more stuff. And then Spike unlocks his handcuffs while Giles is turned around, and he gets up and he fucking punches Giles and runs out the door.
Kind of pushes him, because punching would like cause too much physical pain.
True. And Spike grabs his coat, and now he's back on the loose. And it's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. He needs them more than they need him right now.
So now Willow is at her dorm cleaning Amy the rat's cage.
And is Amy the rat just on the bed?
She's just on the bed chilling.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
She's talking to Buffy, and she's like, this sucks. Like, I tried to do these spells. I'm like shirking my duties, and I'm not even that good of a witch. You were right when you said I wasn't powerful enough.
She's like, I'm a bad witch, right?
I'm a bad witch. I'm not like Amy. Amy was a great witch. She's a rat. If I was such a good witch, I could have found a way to make Oz stay with me. And Buffy's like, that's not how love works, dude. And she's like, no, I mean, freaking Amy's right here. She's a rat. And, I can't even change her back. If I could change her back, I would. And then Amy the rat turns back into human Amy, and she's nude sitting on the bed. Mm-hmm. And then Willow goes, but I can't change her back, and she's going to be a rat forever or something. And she turns back into a rat.
It's hilarious and sad all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that actress.
She's still there.
Yeah.
She's still around.
Amy still exists.
You just get that phone call.
Yup.
Yeah.
But then Buffy gets a phone call from Giles about Spike breaking out. And Buffy's like, well, Spike broke out, so I gotta go. And Willow's like, you gotta go? Who gives a fuck if Spike broke out? I need you. I'm hurting. And Buffy's like, well, that guy is dangerous, and he's got information that we need to use. And who knows what he can do if he's gonna like hurt people. And Willow's like, you're not thinking about me right now.
Yeah.
And I was like,
this is a stretch for the Willow character. Yeah. Like, it's one thing for her to feel a certain way, but I don't think she would just lash out at all the people around her.
I mean, she's really lashing out. Like, she's...
Yeah. And she's been pissed off at Buffy for other stuff before, pissed off at Xander, like... But this one feels a little forced for her character to go...
Honestly, I would only Willow in the last 2 episodes has been, like, way, way, way off base. Last episode, she was the Native American... she was like, let him kill us all.
She was an extreme. I would say, not off base, but more of an extreme. Like, her principle, what she's thinking in the last episode kind of makes sense, but her like outcome of like, oh, let's just let him kill them all is like an extreme version of like, well, they did get screwed over. Like, you can think that they got screwed over, but not then go, okay, let's just kill every innocent person today. Yeah, and then this one, it's just, it's a little tougher because he didn't just leave, but she's just having the realization that he won't be back, right? So it's like become final.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, but she had some time to grieve his leaving. I guess she just never fully accepted it. But the way she's lashing out is an interesting way that seems necessary for the story, but not true to character.
It's also interesting, too, that she could, based on what we've seen, couldn't she make Oz normal with this spell?
Well, she was talking about, like, I didn't have she couldn't go through, like, hurting Veruca in the last one. She couldn't do the spell, the curse, the love spell or whatever. Because she was going to do a spell where he could never love Veruca.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, the spell that she has now, she could be like, Oz, you're no longer a werewolf. And that would turn him into no longer being a werewolf. She could fucking cure Angel. We could have another one of those Angel episodes where he fucking turns into a normal human again.
Yeah, I mean, she could do so much with this. Like, Giles brings up a very minor thing at the end of this episode. She doesn't know the powers are there yet. But also, her power isn't... She doesn't even want this so that she can wish that that Oz came back. She wants it so that she could wish her pain away.
Yeah. It
should not be this easy to get this power.
Yeah, this is like an all-powerful... She's God.
Yeah, well, so Anya, who plays a role in this later, she was a vengeance demon who was able to curse people if they made a wish, right? And it seems like she was very powerful. But Willow has better, if not more, power here. Yeah. Because she can just say it and she doesn't need someone to wish it for her. Yes. So
she's incredible.
So why, like, if you could, this is too, it's too overpowered. This ability is too overpowered.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah. So Buffy's like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. I gotta go. I gotta find Spike. And Willow says, oh, why do you even care? He's probably just wandering outside. He's probably right outside. You'll find him in 2 seconds. And then it cuts to Spike being right outside, looking around like, what the hell? How did I get here? And Buffy's like, oh, well, that was easy. Yeah. I found you in 2 seconds.
It's like, yeah, no.
And Spike's like, yeah, this is weird. I don't know how this happened. But yeah, then he's like, wait a minute. Now that I am here, this is where I came out of the ground when I was in the commando thing. And Buffy's like, what are you talking about? He's like, it was right here. The door was right here. And he's just standing on top of some grass. And Buffy's like, that's just grass, dude. And he starts digging and he's like, oh, come on, damn it. Where are you? And he just looks like an insane person. And Spike then... Buffy grabs Spike. And then Spike punches Buffy. And he gets zapped in the head. And he's like, oh no. Because it is now confirmed that he cannot harm any living being. He can't feed. He can't harm them. Except for... that first episode where he was beating the shit out of all those commando guys.
Yeah, and the lab assistants.
Yeah. But yeah, so now Spike is incredibly neutered.
Yeah.
And Buffy punches him in the face like, oh, come on. So yeah, then Buffy apprehends Spike again. And now we go to Giles, and Giles still can't see, still having a hard time. Buffy takes Spike back to Giles's place, and now Willow goes to Xander's place to complain about, like, hey, freaking Buffy, right? She freaking doesn't care about listening to my problems. It's all about being Buffy, Buffy, Buffy. Well, where is she when I need her? I'm feeling sad. And Xander's like, well, I mean, Spike was on the loose, so we need to catch him. And yeah, so it makes sense. And Willow's like, well, I don't give a shit.
People that don't like Xander should be mad at Willow for making Xander the voice of reason at this point.
Right. Yeah.
Like, Willow's making Xander make more sense.
Yeah, and Xander's like, I mean, she has to go get Spike, right? And then Willow says, well, if she likes Spike so much, why don't they just get married? And then we cut back to Giles's house, and Giles is like looking for something in another room, and he comes back to the room where Buffy and Spike are in, and Spike is proposing to Buffy. And Buffy's like, oh my God, it's so sudden. Yes, of course, Spike. And Giles is looking like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. And my prediction was it was going to be something to do with Xander and Anya getting married. Did not see this coming.
No. So then we go back to Willow and Xander. And Willow is just like, well, Giles sees that, and then Buffy and Spike are smooching hardcore.
This episode, they are making out and lip smacking.
Yeah.
All, like, from this point on.
Yes.
If they're in the scene together, they are locking lips.
Yeah, Giles is super confused. But then we go back to Willow, and she's still sad, and she's talking to Xander about, like, Xander's like, hey, dude, you just gotta, you gotta get over it. There's gonna be other guys, and Oz left. Sorry, but you got to move on. And Willow goes, oh, like, you've got room to talk. You fucking have quite the history, don't you? You were with Insect Lady, you were with Mummy Lady, and now you're with Anya, who is a fucking vengeance demon. Look at you. You're a demon magnet. And then zap, zap in the eyes.
We don't even see the zap. We just hear the sound effect when she does this one. So that
okay.
they made it so it was just like sound effect, and you know what's happening.
And then you're like, fucking Willow, dude.
She is lashing out at her friends hard, and Xander says, "You're not mad at Buffy. You're mad at at Oz for leaving," and it's like that's where your anger should be.
Yeah. Leave it to Xander for some insight, huh? You'd never expect that.
I know. It's like, all right.
But yeah, Giles calls Willow for help because he's looking at Spike and Buffy making out. He's like, hey, Willow, I need something's going on over here.
Yeah. And I thought he put it together at this point, but he hadn't really.
Yeah. And so Spike and Buffy are planning their wedding. And Buffy goes up to Giles and she's like, Giles, I know this is a little weird, but my dad is all the way in LA and I haven't really ever been that close with him. But I want to ask you, when Spike and I get married, will you be the one to give me away? And Giles is like, fucking what is happening?
At first he's honored.
Yeah.
And then he's like, wait, what is going on here? Because it is an emotional scene and it means a lot because she really thinks this. A big key in this scene is when they're planning the wedding. Buffy's like, let's have an outdoor wedding during the day.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you want? Your groom to just be ashes? And she's like, oh, it can be in the shade. Indirect sunlight doesn't hurt you.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know. Like they're trying to like weasel in.
Yeah.
Like it has to be like a complete sun ray, I guess.
Yeah.
We've seen them in indirect sunlight not get hurt, and we've seen them get hurt in indirect sunlight.
Yeah. They're loosey-goosey with it.
Yeah, but they actually making statements now.
Yeah. Well, and then Spike is like, well, one breeze, and then it'll move the leaves, and then boom, I'm a pile of dust again.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm confused of the rules.
Just don't. I just like don't even care. Just like don't like do what you're gonna do, but don't have them talk about it.
Yes, exactly. Like if they wouldn't bring up the rules so often to throw it in our face, and then it's like, well, if you're gonna bring it up,
now we
here's several examples of like, you know. But then Giles is like, no, I don't approve of this marriage. And she was like, well, you didn't approve of Angel. And then Spike's like, hey, we don't use that name. And she's like, oh, whoops, sorry. Well, you didn't approve of my last boyfriend who was a murderous vampire, but you'll learn to love Spike. And then she's like, honey, let's go. I'm thinking like maybe we could do this nice church. And Spike's like, I'm not one for churches. And she was like, well, what about this or something? And then Spike goes, ooh, is that what Angel would have wanted? Is that what Angel would have wanted? And Buffy's like, hey, this isn't just about Angel. You know, you think I'm not hurting? You think that I don't have to think about you and Drusilla all the time together? And I was like, wow, we're really digging up some.
She's like, oh, do I have to worry about on our wedding night if you're going to be thinking about making love to me or Drusilla? And I was like, jeez. And Giles is watching all of this, like, what the fuck is happening? And then they start making out again.
Yeah, and then Giles goes fully blind. He is fully blind. He can't see anything anymore. And Buffy's like, I'll go to the magic shop. We'll figure this out. Spike is going to take care of you. And Giles is like, no, God, no. And Spike's like, come on, mate. I'll take care of you.
Yeah, you're family. You're practically family now.
Yeah. It's like, this is so weird and wacky, dude.
I had a feeling we were going to get some wackiness after last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe Giles just went blind because of this relationship. He was only just going to be like blurry-eyed before, but then it's just like
then he kind of wished it away.
He stopped fighting it.
Yeah. So Buffy goes to the magic shop to get reversal spell supplies, and she's walking down the street and she sees a wedding dress in a shop window, and she's like, the perfect wedding dress. And she goes up to the window and she's like petting at the window like, this is so beautiful. And Riley, boring ass Riley, shows up.
What is he doing? Just walking around?
Just wandering the streets. So he shows up and he sees Buffy looking at the wedding dress, and he's like, hey, what's going on? You like that dress, huh? And Buffy's like, yeah, this is going to be my wedding dress. And I was like, huh? And she's like, yeah, I'm getting married. And I was like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, you know, it's with this guy that I used to, you know, we have a history and we used to fight a bunch, but who knew that like all that fighting turned out to be passion and love? And Riley's like, so wait a minute, you're getting married? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, so does that mean that we're not a thing? And she's like, oh, Riley, you're so nice. You're so kind. You're very nice. But yeah, you're just kind of a friend to me because I'm getting married. And Riley's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on right now, but I don't like it. And I'm going to go home, okay?
And she says his name is Spike, which I thought was going to trigger him to know that that's who they're after, even though they call Spike prisoner 19 or something like that. If they
17, I think.
If they would have, like, you know, talked to their prisoner and got to know him, they would know Spike. I was really excited for him to say Spike, her to say Spike, and his eyes to light up and be like, what?
Yeah.
And then, like, gun guys, and I thought all that stuff's going to collide together.
No.
But my favorite line...
She goes, Spike, and he's like, is that even a name?
Yeah. But my favorite line in the scene is she's like, yeah, no one likes him. I don't even really like him. Talking about Spike. Which is like, are they going to end up together somehow? Like, she's like supposed to marry him, and she's saying she doesn't even really like him.
She doesn't like him, Vance. She loves him. There you go.
Yeah.
So Riley's like, I'm fucking out of here. This is confusing. So Xander and Anya are alone And Xander's talking to Anya about like, yeah, dude, fucking Willow was here earlier and she was sad and she's like not stable and I feel bad for her. And Anya's like, who gives a shit about her? Let's fuck. And so they start smooching.
That's kind of accurate.
I was going to say, tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah,
it's a simplification of the scene, but it's kind of what's happening. Across,
yeah.
So they start kissing, and then a demon shows up, breaks through Xander's basement window, and Xander's like, "What the hell's going on here?" And so they start fighting the demon. Xander tries to like punch it and choke it, and Anya's like, "No, you idiot! It's a XYZ kind of demon. They can only die by drowning." And so Xander's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Good thing I have this sink full of water for no reason.
Right. So Anya and Xander take this demon over and they start drowning it in a sink. And then another demon shows up and starts breaking in. And then another demon. And then while Anya and him, and she's like, this is this type of demon. I was like, Anya would be a very valuable player in this. Like, she's got knowledge of all kinds of demons.
Oh, yeah. She's the oldest person around.
It's fun. She should be more ingrained into the team.
She's kind of getting there.
She's like a walking Giles book.
Yeah. Yeah.
A walking, talking Giles book.
I just had to note that there was one scene where I think last episode where Xander didn't want, his mom wanted to put a lock on the door and he was arguing with her about who's withholding rent. Because she wanted the lock on the door because she didn't like him having girls down there.
Yeah.
But she's giving her fruit roll-ups, Anya fruit roll-ups. Willow's wandering over at night. Like,
Anya's over at night.
Yeah, and there's like multiple entrances to the basement. It seems like there's an outdoor entrance and a in the house come down the stairs entrance.
Yeah.
I just like, what was that all about? Because the mom seems really like friendly to these girls that keep coming over.
I do love that Anya was such a big fan of those fruit roll-ups. She's like, these fruit roll-ups are great.
Fruit roll-ups are getting a lot of plug in this episode.
Yeah.
Also, demons aren't strong.
No. Regular humans beat them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If a demon walked in, it should be able to take Xander and Girl.
Yeah.
Anya has no powers.
Xander's got vague military guy training.
We saw him get in a slap fight.
Yeah.
So I don't think his hand-to-hand combat is up to par.
Yeah. So more demons are showing up and Xander's like, we gotta get out of here. So Buffy and Spike and Giles are trying to cure Giles' blindness and they can't cure it for some reason. Spike and Buffy continue to plan their wedding and Giles gets super annoyed. And then Xander and Anya show up to Giles' house and like, guys, we've got trouble. There's a butt ton of demons coming after us and we don't know what's going on. And Giles is like, well, that's a problem too because I'm blind. And Buffy's like making out with Spike and Xander comes in. He's like, whoa, hold on a minute. What the fuck's going on? And Giles is like, yeah, no idea. A bunch of crazy shit's going on. You're being chased by demons. I'm blind. Buffy and Spike are getting married, apparently.
Yeah.
And then Xander's like, wait a minute. Hold on. I know something. Oh, I know something. Oh, piece it together, Xander. Piece it together, Xander. It's Willow. Willow is behind all this. And they're like, what, really? And he's like, yeah, because fucking earlier she said that Buffy and Spike should get married if they like each other so much, if she wants to be around Spike all the time. She called me a demon magnet. And then Giles was like, and she said that I don't see anything. And they're like, oh, fucking Willow. There's also a little part where Giles is blind and Xander's like, you're blind? You can't see anything? And he starts waving his hands in front of Giles. And he's like, whatever you're doing, stop it. And your hands reek of fruit roll-ups.
There's a couple things here. Before they show up, Buffy and Spike are talking about their wedding invitations. And she's like, do you want to go as Spike or William the Bloody? And then he's also making fun of her name and her mom giving her the name Buffy.
Yeah.
Which is like a fun little exchange.
Yeah, she's like, Spike isn't really like a name, though, is it? He's like, oh, and Buffy screams elegance.
Yeah. My mom gave me that name. Oh, and your mom, she's such a...
Yeah. It's like, whoa, Spike, you love her mom, okay? You and her mom are bros.
You like her mom, at least.
Yeah.
Enough to, like, not kill her right away. And then when they show up, Spike says, this is the crack team that foils my every plan.
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, dude, these people are the ones where you can't do anything evil. This goofy group.
He's like, I am ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? So remember, like, when they were going to Sunnydale High School, they would always, like, go to Giles's place and all that shit. Mm-hmm. So now they're making such a big deal, like, even if it's not a big deal, Sunnydale University, they make mention that it is 5 miles away. Mm-hmm. That means that Buffy is walking 5 miles to Giles's house. She doesn't drive.
It just doesn't... I don't know why her not driving in the 4 seasons adds up to anything. You know what I mean? Like, if Buffy just had a car and knew how to drive and just wasn't the best driver, sure, it's a gag. Yeah. But we have not gotten anything out of the 4 years except for like one episode of Band Candy.
Yeah.
Where her driving has been a thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, just have her drive a car over and it's fine. Like,
yeah,
we can get her place to place.
I just realized the logistics of like her having to walk 5 miles to and fro.
Yeah, did she get Spike to like hotwire a car and drive them there?
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because Giles' place is not near the college campus.
Yeah. But anyway, the Scooby Gang plus Spike figures out that Willow is behind all this. And Willow's at her dorm and a demon attacks her, or she's walking around, or she is at the dorm.
She's walking down the hallway complaining about her friends again. She goes into her dorm room, and behind in the shadows steps out the demon Tahafran.
Yeah.
And he grabs her head and you see like the lightning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of demons that have been in that room.
Yeah, right? Just sneaking up and shit.
He's like, can I get a different floor? I don't want to be on the Buffy floor. Too much stuff happening.
So the demon takes Willow away to an alternate realm. Then the gang shows up to the dorm, and Anya's talking like, hey, I know the demon that's taking Willow. It's fucking Tahafra, and he took me and made me a vengeance demon because I was wishing all this stuff about men and how I hated men. I got dumped and I've gone through several bad relationships. So he saw potential in me and really awakened my supernatural powers or some shit.
He turned her into a demon.
Yeah.
So Anya, 1120 years ago. So Anya was a normal human to start. Mm-hmm. She wasn't a demon to begin with. Mm-hmm. So now I think she's just back to being her human self. So I don't think, because before we weren't sure if she had like taken over someone's body because she's like, I took this form. Yeah. Well, she did say I took this form so that I could get near to Cordelia so that she can make the wish.
Yeah.
So maybe she just made herself age down and this is what she normally looked like. But we do know that she used to be a human.
She had a demon form though too.
No, she said he turned her into a demon.
Yeah. Okay.
And demons can, well, according to the angel episode, it's like gets real tricky, but some demons are passing and some aren't. Like Spike and them, they can switch their faces. Some demons can swap faces, like we've seen them do it. So she got turned into it. Like if he turned Willow into a demon, she would probably be able to swap back and forth.
Okay. And that's kind of like what this Tahafran guy is offering Willow. He's like, I see like all of the power that you have. You have such potential to be a vengeance demon. Like look at all the hurt that you're causing. And Willow's like, I'm not hurting anybody. And then he like pulls out like a flat screen TV to show like a mystical flat screen.
I do love that.
And I was like, oh, is Willow going to replace Anya as the male vengeance demon?
Well, this is before that. They're walking through the graveyard, and then they start fighting more demons because the demons are attacking Xander, and then they start a big fight, and that's what he shows them on the screen. It's them all fighting within this like crypt. Yeah. And Anya tries to do a spell, but she can't remember the words.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all fighting, and Spike is like, look, dude, Buffy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to protect you because I have been chipped. So you might be on your own. And Buffy's like, oh, you think that I need protection? And Spike's like, yo, with this feminazi trip again.
It's like, it would help if you had a second person that knew how to throw a punch.
Right.
In this group.
But yeah, so after Willow sees all the gang suffering, she's like, no, I don't want this. I just wanted to get over my heartbreak, which she still hasn't done.
Well, last week she wanted to save a vengeance demon. Yeah. And now she has a chance to become one. Well, I guess it was a vengeance spirit, not a vengeance demon.
Fair. But she turns the demon down, and he's like, okay, well, here's my talisman. If you ever want to do it, just give us a call. Yeah. See ya.
The music was swelling up, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely going to swell and do the drop. And he's not going to this guy seems chill.
Yeah.
I knew right when it was happening that he wasn't going to get pissed off at her for saying no.
Yeah. So she turns him down, and he's like, all right, well, that's cool. Willow shows up in the fucking crypt that the gang is fighting all the demons in, and everyone's like, Willow, welcome back. How'd you get here?
No, they don't. That's after she does the reverse spell. But when they're in there, they're fighting. Anya and Xander are really working one demon and fighting for their life.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy goes over to Spike, who gets pushed down, and they just start making out.
Yeah.
And Xander's like, a little help here. He's like Anya's on the back of it. He's trying to hold the demon off. There's another one coming in the door. And Buffy and Spike just start
barricade themselves.
They said Buffy and Spike are getting married, but not they are so in love that they can't tear themselves apart. This is not the moment.
People that are engaged can keep their hands to themselves.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was just the makeout quota in this episode.
I mean, even at a certain point when Giles is blind, he's like, stop kissing, I can hear the smacking.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm with you, Giles. I also loved when Xander showed up initially to Giles' place, and he's like, can I go blind?
Yeah. Or Xander goes, who? What? Who? And Giles like, those are 3 excellent questions.
Yeah.
It's such good stuff in that scene.
Yeah. But yeah, Willow shows up. She does the reversal spell.
Really Buffy, easy. Real easy.
It was
just a couple lines.
It was a 4-line poem.
Yeah, it's what had happened once before can't happen again. I wish no more. And something like that. And it's all right.
Yeah.
And then something crazy happens, in my opinion.
You talk about what happens that's crazy.
The demons disappear.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
They weren't made up.
Yeah.
It's not like Spike just disappeared and went back to he's back tied up or something. No one goes back to where they came from, except for the demons just magically disappear. They should still be there.
Yeah, I mean, just because Xander's not a demon magnet anymore doesn't mean that they don't exist in that plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I was like, come on, that's too.
Yeah, the demons disappear. Buffy and Spike, who have been making out, finally realize what they're doing. They're like, ew, 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 ew. Spike's like, I got Slayer on my lips. She's like, I got Spike on my lips. Oh, gross.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And, end of episode. Nothing else. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. I mean, Willow's making forgiveness cookies for everybody. she's like, I'm sorry. I think it's Anya's like, how many of these do you need to bake before you feel like you are forgiven?
Well,
I still feel guilty.
I just like, how many of these are you gonna make? Just like, just a matter of fact, are you gonna keep making these? And she has what does she have? A Speak No Evil shirt. Willow has a Speak No Evil shirt on.
Yeah,
which is like last episode she had a peace sign shirt. Like they're just like putting her feelings right on. Just,
not on her sleeve, on her chest. Yeah. And then basically Buffy's like, I can't believe I wanted to get married to Spike. Why would I ever do that? And Spike's like, I can't believe you wanted wind beneath your wings to be our first dance. And Buffy was like, that was the spell talking. That wasn't me.
We almost get a shot from like last episode where everyone turns and looks at her again.
Yeah. She's like, that was the spell. I hate that song. It's not a secret desire of mine.
It shouldn't even be a secret to Giles because he was around during the whole planning.
Right.
And this is where Giles says, I wish you would have wished for my 20/20 vision. I still have to wear glasses, like, and she's like, oh, here's some oatmeal raisin cookies. And he's like, I can see they're chocolate chip or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like testing out his vision.
Yeah. And then Buffy is like eating some of the cookies and then she goes, oh, fuck.
Wait, before that.
Okay.
Spike says, can I get a cookie? I still have Slayer taste in my mouth.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then eventually he gets a cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Angel episode, Angel episode, which you can listen to on Patreon, there's some vampire food human talk.
Yeah.
In that. And it seems as though vampires can't taste food the same way. Yet anytime we see Spike, he's eating. He wants those little marshmallows. He's enjoying a hot chocolate. He wants a brandy. He wants a cookie. So, that's all I'm going to say for right now and see where this goes. Because next thing you know, we're going to see Spike in a diner.
Yeah.
Eating a meal.
Eating eggs and bacon. Like, I fucking love bacon.
Yeah.
Pig flesh.
Yeah, so, I don't know. He's eating a cookie.
Yeah. That is interesting because they made such a big deal about Angel eating chocolate.
Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it there and see what happens.
Yep. So then Buffy finally gets the realization, a light bulb goes off in her head. She's like, oh, fucking damn it. Riley thinks I'm engaged. And they're like, what? She's like, yeah, he saw me looking at a wedding dress. And I told him that I was marrying Spike. And they're like, well, how are you going to fucking get out of that? How are you going to lie your way out of that one?
Super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
And then it cuts to Buffy with Riley. And she's like, yeah, I was just playing a prank on you. And Riley's like, I don't get it. I don't get your prank here. And she's like, well, I saw how you were looking at me when I was looking at the wedding dress and you were all commitment-ophobe. And I just wanted to play a prank on you. And Riley's like, what a fucking weird prank to play. I don't get it. But if that's your sense of humor, you're more peculiar than I thought that you were.
Yeah, it's like, you're crazy, but single.
Yeah. Like, you're single, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm still single. And he's like, oh, you're single, huh? Yeah. And then he puts his hand on Buffy's, like the back of her head. And he's like, you're single. And it's like he's about to go in for a kiss. But
well, that's not the end. Like the single thing is like while they're walking, talking.
Yeah.
And then it's she's a manic pixie dream girl, which term wasn't even like coined yet when this came out. Because that's the craziest thing you could do.
Yes.
It's so crazy. But he says...
She says something about
like you have a lot to learn about
you really
women.
have no idea how to talk to women.
And I think he puts the hand here or does something and he goes, you're going to teach me.
Yeah.
Which might be the creepiest thing that's ever happened in this show. Like the way he says that and the look on her face of like confusion and not lust or like romance, it was awkward.
Well, that like his hand placement on her head like that's kiss incoming.
Yeah.
But after he says you're going to teach me, he just looks at her for another like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then releases and walks away. What?
It's so weird.
It's the weirdest thing. He had to go on a drive to like clear his head, I guess.
Yeah, she's like, I don't think I should be the one to teach you. I've only slept with one human guy.
Yeah. Like, how fucking like
they overcorrected. They overcorrected. They made Riley so like he's not even like so innocent. Like because like Oz has an innocence to him, but he still has character. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
He is milk. He's milk.
I'm trying to think of past characters that we had. Like the dude that had the brain cancer thing.
Ford.
Like he had some personality. A little bit, it seemed.
Yeah. Like this guy's like he doesn't have any jokes. His jokes are lame.
Yep. I'm a lesbian.
Yeah.
And that was a weird scene because they really should have been playing like, oh, I've been interviewing Spike. I came up to you. You have a secret. And the secret's like, oh, you're a gun guy type. Like they could play around with that a little more. I think because the Lesbian Alliance banner takes away from it being a double entendre of like, do you have a secret?
Yeah.
It's like gun guy, and then it turns around and it's like the Lesbian Alliance sign. And if we see it later, then you could play it off that way where he's like, oh my God, she knows or something.
Yeah.
But
like the Lesbian Alliance thing was literally there for that tiny joke.
Yeah. And like normally at the beginning of an episode, if you introduce an event or something, it might mean it was like the show being like, yeah, we're inclusive. like what?
But yeah, man, I mean, that's the episode. That's where it ends with Riley walking off, ready to learn all about how to talk to women from Buffy.
Man, I really wish she would have found out who Spike was then.
Right?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about Something Blue, Vance?
Oddly, no.
Yeah.
I do like the Spike. Anything with Spike is great. I get it. I get why
Spike
people like
rules,
Spike.
Yeah. I am turning on Willow.
I am not turning on her. I think they forced her character to do stuff so they could have this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. From like all the arguments that I hear about Xander.
Well, you have your own little personal gripe of you want to hate on Willow to.
No, I'm putting the same. Look, I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna judge one character by these standards, you have to hold all of them by them standards. So if you're applying these by them standards, if you're gonna hold Xander to like XYZ standard, you have to hold Willow, Buffy, Giles, all these characters by those same standards. And then it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Like Willow is like being a butthole the last two episodes. Putting her friends in danger for 2 straight episodes.
I'll say last episode, Buffy's doing more danger putting than, say, Willow.
Okay.
She decides, I'm going to stay here and keep making dinner.
Yeah, I'm going to cook. Yeah.
Instead of actually solving the problem. Hey, you guys go check out the dean, because if the spirit's there, I'm sure you guys can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
a supernatural spirit.
Yeah. That's what you do. I'm gonna work on the potatoes. Like, yeah. So I think for me, Buffy's more of a focus on the wrong thing there.
Okay, Vance. All right. Well, next episode, Vance, is titled Hush. I'm going to guess that it is the silent episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I wonder if this is going to be played out like a silent movie or like just how do they get silent?
Somebody hurts someone's feelings and someone makes a wish.
Okay, all right.
That seems to be the way this all works out. Spike is like doing a spell. These gun guys are gonna get it. If they can't talk, then
These gun guys are going to get it. From now on, they're going to zip it. It has to rhyme.
Yeah. That was witchcraft. It was like, if it doesn't rhyme, it does not work. Yeah.
Well, that is it, everybody, for Something Blue. Thank you for listening. Leave a rate and review on Apple Podcasts if you want to get a shout out. Take do the Spotify thing, screenshot it, send it to my DMs at Joe Elke if you want to get that Spotify shout out. Sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, Discord, links in the show notes, Instagram at Boys Watching Buffy, email boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. And yeah, thanks for listening. Stay tuned next week for when we talk about Hush.
Come on now! It's telly time!
This is Buffy and Willow.
I really have to...
Passions is on! Timmy's down the bloody well, and if you make me miss it, I'll
Do what? Lick me to death?
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.